We're in the deadest time of season for hoops. Like, there is literally nothing going on. And this is the time of year when I decide to reach into the Rolodex and look up my favorite people. I just want to bring them on. I just want to introduce, for those of you that are unfamiliar with the greatness, with the talent that is Scotty Ferrall, you'll be introduced. It's an annual tradition. This is year 2. Let's get into it. It is the Golden Daze.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win. It was a pretty crazy night.
Woo! Let's go!
In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up. Come on and break me off. Cause I get what I want and I like what I see. If you got
this build up Scotty Ferrall. Sounds like a vomit. I didn't know what I was doing in life. I'm listening to Scotty. Crack the beers open. Thank you for joining the Golden Daze. I'm your host, Cyrus Saatsaz. You can follow me on Threads and Instagram @DogWild and over on Twitter @SurfJournalist. We're bringing Scotty Ferrall on the program in just 1 second. First, let's give some love to our official sponsor, and that is BetOnline. It's the world's most trusted betting platform and your #1 source for everything football. Football season is back, folks. From the preseason NFL that's going on right now to college football kicking off, BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. And if you think you know your stuff, get in on the winner-take-all $300,000 NFL Survivor pool for the upcoming season. When the game's over, kick back, relax, pour yourself a stiff one, light them up if you got them, and head on over to the online casino. Get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of over 150 slot games. Head to the website today and use the promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV. It's the name of the network, and get in on the action. BetOnline, the game starts here. On Monday, Kristen Peak joins me, one of the brightest minds in basketball. Again, this time of year, it's all about bringing on phenomenal guests, and I'm lucky to bring on right now the man, the myth, the legend, Scotty Ferrall. Bro, it is always a pleasure. How the hell are you doing? People can catch your show on Sports Grid, which is part of Sirius XM. You talk sports, you talk gambling, you talk drinking, you talk lighting them up doobie style. I love you, brother. How the hell are you doing, Scotty?
That's true. Sai, good to see you. I am, you mentioned stiff drinks. I'm having one right now because I'm off today. And I was off, whatever, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I figured my son's gone. He went back to San Diego State to college, and I'm off. And I'm going out to dinner with 34C and my daughter. And so they're driving. I don't have to worry about it. So I figured I'm off. I got all my errands done. I got all my responsibilities done. The only thing I had to do was your show today. So I figured, why not make a double rum for the occasion with my Indiana Hoosier glass? And I need these pants, by the way. Think about it. They wear those pants when they warm up, when they come out on the court for their games. Although they have sucked in recent years, they have not been winning. So I'm a little bummed out about my Hoosiers. And what's weird was my son was going to transfer there, right? He was going to transfer from San Diego State to Indiana, but
why?
I took him to IU for the Little 500 this spring in April. It was like we were there for 4 days. I stayed in like a really nice, there's only one really nice hotel in Bloomington. There's like 40 crappy ones, but there's one nice one. So I stayed in a nice one, and he partied for 4 days. He went to like benders, like frat parties, like all-nighters. The whole deal, like just booze, drugs, whores, the whole deal. And then I took him to dinner on Sunday. The race was Saturday, the bicycle race, the Little 500. And I took him to dinner Sunday, and I said, all right, so what's the verdict? What's it going to be? I took him to a fancy steakhouse, and I said, you need to make your mind up today if you're going to do this or not, because I'm not going to keep playing this game. I'm either paying for you to go to San Diego State or it's Indiana. What's it going to be? You went 1 year to San Diego State, and now you're thinking about transferring to IU because you got friends here and stuff like that. So he said to me at dinner, he said, it's too hillbilly for me. He said it's there's too many farmers. It's in the middle of nowhere.
Is that code for it's just certain people are just a little too overweight for them?
Well, just I think he was like, it's a bunch of farmers and hillbillies, and there's nothing to do here. It's in the middle of nowhere. There's cornfields everywhere. There's hawks flying in the sky. There's nothing to do here. There is no beach. There is no G-strings. There is no ass. There is no weed dispensaries.
No pool
parties.
parties.
Nothing in Indiana. He goes, I am out of here. He goes, I am not going to school here. So he went back to San Diego State, and he's there now as a sophomore. So my friend dropped him off the other day. My buddy's a lawyer in San Diego. He's a badass, and he's like his big brother, right? So he stashes his stuff at his house, and then he goes to school there. And when the season's over, school's over, he brings his stuff over there, stashes it, and then he goes back for his sophomore year. So they went to his new pad. He went to his new apartment, and the guy dropped him off. And my buddy called me up, and he said, I'm in my Ferrari, and I'm smoking a cigar, and I'm totally perving out on 30,000 hoes that go to school here. And he goes, there is more ass here than anything I've ever seen in my life. He said, I'm going to get arrested. There were 30,000 chicks like moving into their apartments and condos and dorms and sororities. And he said, this is the most magnificent place on earth. And I'm just going to sit here in my car for an hour, probably get arrested. I'm 60 years old, and I'm looking at 20-year-olds, and they're hot as shit. And I was like, it's a cool place. So when I took him there, I went, first time I ever went, I took him to the campus, and we were walking around, and we're like, well, what do you think, Gunner? And he goes, it's pretty cool. And I go, look at that. And there was a girl in a G-string with her like backpack and sunglasses on, like going to summer classes at San Diego State. And she was literally in a bikini with a backpack and a skateboard and sunglasses. And I wanted to have sex with her. And I said, you got to go to school here. I mean, there is more ass. This is like an ass festival. Like, I don't even know what to say. I have never seen more ass in my entire life than at San Diego State. God bless the Aztecs.
Dude, when you joined the show last year, I was on a different network. So thank you for joining me on the new program. It looks a little different, but it's the same show, new name. And when you joined me last year, you were by the pool. Yeah, right. I believe you were walking your kid, metaphorically speaking, to campus and introducing him to college. First of all, what you just said is why the folks who don't subscribe to college or hate on it, they don't get it, man. They just they don't get that this is supposed to be the time of your life, the best time of your life. Right. And Scotty, you know this, man. I'm an Aztec for life. I'm an alumni of San Diego State. And it is paradise, dude. I think about it every day. I miss it every day. Your kid is so lucky. I can't believe he wanted to leave, though. Like, it's just because of buddies?
Well, so when he went the first year, so he went and, like, you know how when you're a freshman, you're kind of homesick and you're not ready for it. You don't have any answers. You're just kind of clueless. You're like, okay, I'm in this dorm. Like when you're a freshman, they make you live in the dorms.
I did too, yeah. Did you live in the dorms?
I lived in the dorms, yeah, for one semester. And then I moved into the Phi Psi house. So I was a Phi Psi. I was in a frat.
I was a Delta Sig. Me too, man. I spent the whole first year, but I follow your story exactly.
You know the deal. So like my grandpa was a Phi Psi. My dad was a Phi Psi. I was a Phi Psi. And so what happened was, he went to school there and he rushed Phi Psi. They have like a California chapter of the Phi Psi at San Diego State. And he went through the whole process. And the reality is that at the end of the line, the last, night or whatever, they do interviews and they do all this hazing and whatever they do. And he didn't get a bid. And I was like,
Scotty Ferrall's progeny did not get a bid?
So no, and then obviously I tried to obviously influence that outcome by letting him know obviously
legacy,
frankly, who I was.
Yes,
and I also said I was a triple legacy, and he would have been a quadruple legacy. But it turns out that they don't care anymore in college about that legacy stuff. Like it's like a turnoff to them. They don't want their dad's kids and their grandpa's son and all this other stuff. So I was like, okay, well, who do I got to grease to get this kid in this frat? Who do I got to pay off?
Yeah.
Because you want money, right? Like somebody's got to buy the booze, the drugs, whatever it is. Who do I got to grease to make this happen? And they were like, we don't care who you are, dude. And I was like, all right, well, then there you have it. So that's the end of that. So then he wanted to leave and he was like, you know, F this.
That's unfortunate, man. That really is, dude.
So typically, as you know, I like to swear on my show. So
you can swear on this program. It's okay. You can swear.
I don't know all your rules and everything.
No, there's no rules. No rules. You can do it.
So I was like, okay, well, fuck this. Okay, so if you're not going to let him in, then fuck it, leave. Because I'll get you in the five-star house at Indiana University in 5 seconds because I ran the place. And I said, just transfer to Indiana. It's a Big Ten school. You have the time of your life. So he transferred and he got in 5 seconds. He's a 4.0. So one thing leads to another. And I brought him there and he went to all the parties and everything and he had a good time. But he literally said that it was hillbilly. He's like, I'm too cool to go to school here. He goes, I like to surf. I like to smoke bongs. And I'm not going to this Farmer's Almanac school. And I was like, okay, then don't go to Indiana. So he went back to San Diego State. And then I told him, I said, Cy, now you're fucking going to school here permanently. I am not, I'm not going through this again. Yeah. You're going to go to San Diego State for 4 years. And I said, I'll pay for it. And if you transfer, then you can pay for it. I'm not gonna pay for you to transfer. If you want to go to San Diego State, I got you. And it's literally, you know, it's expensive. Out of state, it's really expensive.
Out of state, it is.
It's brutal. It's $60,000 a year. So here's the deal. He stayed. He likes it. He's glad he went back.
Good.
So what happened was his first semester, he was kind of a pussy. And he was like, I didn't get into the frat. And
yeah.
And then I was like, go back to your, spring semester and just party and have a good time and let it all hang out and bang chicks. And he did. And he was like going to, keggers on the beach. He was surfing. He was golfing. He was smoking. He was going to, he had like 3 or 4 different girlfriends he was lying to. So once he got settled in and said, screw the frats, I just want to party with hoes and have a good time. Then he had a blast. And then he decided to stay. And now he's glad he stayed. And that's the end of Indiana. So it's weird. For me, I loved Indiana. I have to say, though, when I was there in the 80s and they won the national championship and beat Syracuse, the last game I ever covered at the Superdome in 87 when Keith Smart hit the shot to beat Syracuse. They were down 13 with 3 minutes left, and they came back.
Bobby Knight's Hoosiers, right?
Bobby Knight. It was his 3rd national championship. I thought Indiana was, the holy grail of basketball, and I thought it was the greatest place on earth. I loved it. When I went back with my son to this Little 500 weekend, I have to tell you, I was walking down the street, and I was filming for my show. I filmed all these people drinking and partying because Little 500 is a bash. I mean, it is just boozing and drinking and drugging and sex for like an entire week. We're at all these parties. I didn't go to any parties. I was in the hotel, but I walked down the street by myself and filmed all this stuff. And at one point I said, right on the camera, I'm filming Cy, and I went, you know what? This place does suck. I was like, I'm old. I'm almost 60. I'm 59. I go, this is boring as shit. I'm bored to death. There's nothing to do here. It is farmland. It is in the middle of nowhere. It is hillbilly. And when you're going to school there, you don't realize it because you're like, this is the greatest place on earth. Oh, Little 500 is the greatest. Bike rides. What a weekend. Drinking and drugging. Oh, look, Indiana basketball. They win national championships. Greatest thing ever. But when I went back as an adult and I was like an old man and I went to the race, right? And Gunnar didn't even go. He was so hungover. He didn't even go to the race. I went to the race and it's like a 200 lap race. And I went to the race and in the 40th lap, I was like, man, does this fucking suck? I go, I'm out of here. And I got an Uber and I went back to the hotel and I never saw the end of the race. I left after 40 laps. You know, they're going around in circles. It was like being at a NASCAR race. So I left and I never went back. And when I went back to the hotel, he was passed out. I got him up. We started drinking and I was like, that race sucks. I go, it was cool when I was a student, but as an old man, it was boring. Like John Cougar, I was born in a small town and I live in a small town. Well, fuck a small town because I'm from New York City and I can't handle small town USA. No offense to anyone. Like I lived in San Francisco. I lived in LA. I lived in New York. I lived in Miami. I lived in Atlanta, and everyone else can eat a dick because I can't live in fucking, farmland and like in the middle of nowhere with cornfields. I can't do it. I never realized it until I was an old man, how bad it does suck. Now, no offense, because I loved IU. I really did. I love the Hoosiers, but it is hillbilly and it's backward ass. And I can't deal with fucking farmers. I'm serious. I am a horrible person. Just so we're clear. I am way too big city for Indiana University. So I promise you, Cy, I am never going back again once for anything. Not a homecoming, not a game, not a basketball, not a bike race. I'm not going back ever again. I'm done with it. I'm too old. And, what am I going to do? I'm almost 60. So what am I going to do? Go back when I'm 80? It was bad enough when I was 58 when I went back. So I'm done with it.
Scotty, you look phenomenal, dude. When you told me that you're pushing 60, that's mind blowing to me, dude. If you told me you were pushing 50, that would have made a lot more sense, man. So bravo for aging fantastically. Congrats to your parents for giving you those genes. And I've never, by the way, expressed, I don't talk about Greek life that much, but, and for the audience, I don't know if I've ever touched on this, but I'm a Delta Sig. Right. Some chapters call it DSP. It's Delta Sigma Phi. And the chapter at San Diego State, they got booted off, dude. So like, they don't even have a chapter there anymore. That's what happens. Otherwise I would have recommended your son to join that fraternity instead. Yeah.
So the chapter, the Phi Psi chapter at San Diego State, it just so happens like the story gets better. So here I am. I'm like, okay, they don't let him in. You're all a bunch of cunts. Fuck off. I even wrote the guy, but I'll tell you why I wrote him. So what happened was they had a pledge event where all the pledges that got, bids, they had a pledge boxing event. So they were going to have the pledges box one another in a, down in the house. They put on boxing gloves and they were going to fight each other. And I was like, okay, what happened? And my son goes, you won't believe what happened. I go, well, what happened? He goes, so some kid knocked out this other kid and he knocked him out. And one thing led to another, and the kid was on the ground, and he threw, when he got knocked out, he grabbed a liquor and he threw it on the guy that knocked him out. And then he set him on fire, and he literally lit him on fire, and the guy was on fire, and his entire body was engulfed in flames. And they like jumped on top of him and put out the fire. And then he had 3rd-degree burns all over his body. And he ended up in the burn unit at the hospital. And so I wrote the kid that was the president that blew off my son. He never got a bid. He never went and everything. I wrote him a letter. I go, you set fire to any pledges lately? How's it going for you at the house now that you've been sued by the family and you've lost your charter, you fucking penis? I go, I hope you die. Yeah. Some kid. I was like, I hope you die, you little cunt. So anyway, I don't have the best relationship anymore with that particular chapter.
I have no relationship with. I mean, I have friendships, right?
Think of me.
Yeah, I'm sure you still have friendships with your brothers from back then. I mean, that's the extent of it, right? It's the relationship.
That's the extent of it.
That's the extent of it, dude. But when it comes to the like, I never bought into the politics of it.
When it ends, right? Like when you leave school, you basically will never have anything to do with anyone again, other than maybe saying hi to him one day on social media, like, how you been? Good to see you. Like most of the guys from mine, there was like 120 dudes that lived in the house, right? And I was I was big in college on the radio. So
I'm sure you were.
I was doing Indiana basketball. I was doing Indiana soccer. I was DJing overnights. So I was relatively well known on campus that I was the guy on the radio.
Was your voice the same back then?
Yes, it was.
Oh, man.
So I was famous already in college. So when I got out, obviously, I started working at CBS immediately at the age of 23. And then the rest is history. I've kind of been national ever since. So most of the guys from that fraternity know that I was, you know, huge in radio and TV, and that I was, you know, well known, and that I was famous, and I had worked for, you know, CBS and Howard Stern, and they knew everything. And I'd done movies, and they all knew that I had, you know, made it in life. But I only am friends with a couple of them. Like there's like 2 or 3 guys that I've maintained a friendship with over the years, where I've been, you know, I've still talked to them. I still call them. We still talk. We text and say hi and stuff like that. But basically and I respect all these guys, right? There was probably 120 that I knew. I like all of them. I do love all of them. I don't deny that. But I have nothing to do with any of them. So they all know me, and they all know that I'm Ferrall, and I don't give 2 fucks about any of them. I don't really give a shit about me either. But I know that I think it's the phoniest bullshit ever. And I have never, like, you don't realize it till you're long gone from it, how cheesy it really is.
True.
All the hazing, all the bullshit. But I loved it when I was there. And then when they fucked with my kid, it pissed me off. I have to say, it pissed me off. It's changed a lot from when I did it. I got in 5 seconds because I was a triple legacy. Now you say you're a quadruple legacy, they're like, get away, you have syphilis.
That's crazy. But again, their chapter's dead. So karma, you know, paid them a visit, man.
I don't care one shit about any of them. And they all know exactly who I am. And they all think I'm a dick. And you know what? The difference is that I am a dick. And if I
you're not a dick.
No, you want to fuck with my kid, then you're my enemy. And I don't care what happens.
You're not a dick, Scotty. Here's the thing. You have a huge heart, and so you can't be a dick and have that at the same time. You just don't put up with shit. And I respect that, dude.
So my buddies all went to San Diego State. My other buddy went to San Diego State. My lawyer friend that is his big brother went to San Diego State. They all went to San Diego State. And the one thing I tried to convince him and implore upon him is that all of that shit doesn't matter at all. What really matters is that you live it up, love life, enjoy life, get great grades. I've been trying to get him to, you know, be like his big brother and go to law school and become a sports agent, become a lawyer, become someone that can be significant in the world. Because I think, you know, he kind of wants to follow in my footsteps, and I feel like it's a very negative business. I think it's a dangerous business. I think it's a cheap business. I think
especially now, man. Now more than ever, right?
You know what I mean? There's no money to be made in it. You have to be hugely successful to make a lot of money. A lot of people do what we do and make no money, and they do it because they love it. But listen, I'm all about being successful in life and making money, and you know, taking care of your family and having a future and having a retirement, having money when you're an old man, and putting your kids through college, stuff like that. I've always been like a principled guy when it comes to that stuff. And I've tried to convince him that, like, being in TV and radio is brutally, you know, I think dangerous. I think it's
hard,
you know, I know a lot of kids that make no money at all, that make, you know, 35, 40 grand a year trying to be a producer, trying to be an on-air talent, whatever. You have to be gigantic in TV and radio to make a lot of money, and everybody else makes nothing. And I think that I've always told him that, you know, you could be a lawyer and be a sports agent attorney, or be a defense attorney or a prosecutor, and make way more money than doing TV and radio. Like, you think TV and radio is glamorous, and it really isn't. As you know, I know I'm right. I know that there's nothing I don't know about this business. And I think that he'd be better, sir. Like, so he's like a 4-0. So I'm like, if you're a 4-0, because I was never a 4-0, I was like a 3-0 at best, and I was fucking hammered, drunk.
3-0's good. 3-0's good though.
Fucking banging horse. I never like got straight A's at anything. I got B's and C's, and I was happy with. I didn't ever care about grades in college. I was like, I'm on the radio. I'm huge in radio. I'm going to be huge in radio my whole life. That's what my plan was. But it was never to get great grades. This kid gets straight A's, 4.0, Dean's List. So when you're that smart and you're that bright, I said, why would you waste it on TV and radio when you could be an attorney or someone powerful with your smarts? Like, you know, I know another kid that's like a genius. Like he went to Northeastern and he's in, you know, Ivy League, and he did artificial intelligence. He's worked at The Hague. He's worked for the government. He's doing all this stuff, and he's 23 years old. I said, you know, if you're that smart in life, do something that is, you know, conducive to that, as opposed to doing radio and TV where you have to basically scavenge your entire life just to make a little bit of money. It's a
rough industry. Yeah, everything you said is true. It's a rough business. The one flip side to that, though, and I'll just playing contrarian for a second here, if you don't mind, is given your son and his intellectual acumen and how sky high it is. And again, I've always said, man, like Hunter S. Thompson to me is one of my all-time favorite journalists. And that dude proved you can party and still be highly successful at what you do. You can still function. And so, but the point is, in this industry, there are a lot of morons in it, man. There are a lot of people who are not cut out for doing really anything in this world, but they love sports and they try to get into it. Your son could be a cut above everyone else. I mean, he does have that going for him, where if he enters this industry, he could stick out and be a bright person. But with that said, it can be a rough and tumble world, man.
So I went to, speaking of Hunter S. Thompson, let's just be real. I took him to see The Dead at the Sphere in Vegas. So I took my son to see The Dead. And, you know, I'm not a pussy. So I haven't done it in like 30 years, but I did mushrooms. Woo! So I went to,
how was that trip?
Yeah. Like I went to the show, and I hadn't done it since college. I hadn't done it. I don't do mushrooms, but I did. So they took me to the show. I bought like, you know, tickets and everything. And I'm like, all right, we're going to go to The Dead, and we're going to go to the Sphere, and we're all going to shroom, and it's going to be the greatest time ever. And I was like, all right. So they gave me this like chocolate bar, basically, that is mushrooms. And we all did the chocolate bar. There was like, you know, a few of us, my son went and friends, and we were all tripping, and it worked. And it was like the greatest night ever. And I went to see The Dead at the Sphere tripping. And, you know, it was 4-hour show, and we were, you know, tripping lasts like about 8 hours. So we did 4 hours at the show, 4 hours after. So probably 7-8 hours, but we went to see The Dead. And I have to tell you, because you mentioned Hunter S. Thompson, and there's nothing that guy wouldn't have done. Yep. Then he would have done mushrooms first. That would have been
as a warm-up. Yes.
To start his day. He would have done mushrooms and smoked a joint and drank a martini, and then started writing. One of the greatest characters of all time, Hunter S. Thompson, without a doubt. So when I went to see The Dead, I figured, here I was 58. I turned 59 in July. I went to see him in whatever it was. I went to see him the weekend of the Tank Davis fight, whatever that was, in June or something. So I went just a couple months ago. I went. And I went to see the show. It was a Thursday night, because they did Thursday, Friday, Saturday shows. So on Thursday night, I went to see The Dead shrooming. And I'm not afraid to say it. I said this on TV. I said it on the radio. I admit I did it. And I am not fucking sorry. I went and I had the time of my life. We laughed our balls off. We tripped. Visuals were incredible. That is the greatest arena I've ever been in my life for sports or a concert, hands down, unequivocally the greatest place I've ever been. And it's a ripoff. It's super expensive. Everything, $32 for a rum and Coke, 3 tacos, street tacos, $38. I was spending money left and right. I didn't give a shit. I had a great time, and I saw John Mayer and The Dead for 4 hours booming on chocolate mushroom bars.
John Mayer was playing with him.
Well, so he's replaced Jerry Garcia.
Incredible. That's incredible.
He's the guitarist now. And I have to tell you, he's, in my opinion, because I saw the Dead 13 times with Jerry, and I saw him once with John Mayer. No one agrees with me, and they think I'm crazy and insane, which I am. I think John Mayer is better than Jerry Garcia. I think he's a better guitarist, and I think he's a better performer. And I think Jerry's God, but I think that John's better. He's younger. I think he's way better on a guitar. I thought Jerry was phenomenal. I think John's better. When I watched him, the fact that guy memorized 1,000+ songs, whatever it is, and goes out on tour with them and plays every song as if he was Jerry Garcia, as if he's been in the band for 30 years. The fact that guy picked up that guitar and all those songs, and that, what I heard was he went over to Bob Weir's house for 6 months. He lived in an RV in his driveway, and literally every day for 6 months they jammed. And
Incredible.
That's how he learned all their songs.
Amazing.
And then they went on this tour, and the tour started with, whatever. They were going to do 30 shows, and now they're going to end up doing hundreds of shows because they expanded the tour. And I got to tell you, I think that Sphere in Madison Square Garden owns it. James Dolan owns it. I think it's the coolest thing I've ever been in. I do not regret doing what I did. I had a blast, and it was the coolest night ever. I had the best time. So the next Saturday night, I went to the fight with my son, and we sat front row and saw Tank Davis beat the shit out of Frank Martin, knocked him out, whatever. And it was really cool. We had a great time. I was 3 rows from the ropes on the ring, and I didn't care because it still wasn't as cool as seeing the Dead on shrooms at the Sphere in Vegas. The best event was the Dead show. The second best was the fight. So I do I do all the fights in Vegas. I'm going to the Canelo fight on September 14th. So I work for the PBC. I do all their big pay-per-view fights, and I promote their fights. And I work for, Al Heyman and Bruce Binkow, the people that run PBC and boxing. And I'm doing the Canelo fight. So I'm in Vegas all the time doing stuff. But that was one of the most fun times I ever had in my life, was partying with my son. Now, listen, most dads would never do that with their kid. And I'm not one of those dads. I'm like, listen, we're going to go see the Grateful Dead. We're going to fucking eat mushrooms. Yes.
I'm glad you had a good trip, dude. I'm like you. I haven't touched psychedelics since college. Part of me wonders if I'm ready for it at this point.
I gotta tell you, it was really easy, and I had a blast.
Good.
There was no the reflections of it. There was no remorse, no regrets.
No bad tripping.
Another day, another death. I had nothing but good. It was all fun. I had a blast. It hit me. I did it. I got off. I had a blast, and then it was over, and I went to bed. I got up the next day, and I did my show. What was weird was
amazing.
I was like,
that's amazing.
I'm doing this on a Thursday night. I go, when the concert was over, it's like, oh my God, I'm tripping. What am I gonna do? I got to get up, and I got to be on at noon. And I went back, and I wrote it out, and then I went to bed. I got up in the morning, and I ended up going on at noon and doing my show, and I somehow survived all of it, because I don't do these things, right? Like I had open heart surgery. I should have been dead. They saved my life, and they're like, yeah, you can't party, you can't do anything. And I was like, all right, whatever. And I went to Vegas and did everything I wasn't supposed to do, and I survived it. So I didn't think that eating a chocolate bar would kill me.
I don't think,
and it didn't. And
I'm guessing booze. First of all, I'm so glad you're okay, dude. Like when I first heard about that, I legitimately was worried about you. And to see you right now, you look healthy as an ox, man. Congratulations on that.
It sucked.
Dude, you look incredible.
Sucked. I literally, my heart exploded. And I was sleeping, and I thought I was having a nightmare, and my heart stopped. And what happened was I woke up in a frenzy, just breathing like a horse. And like something had happened. Like I had a nightmare, and I was like, I thought I was having this bad dream, and I was like, what the fuck? I didn't know what it was. And then I got up to play ball, And I was like 30 seconds into the game playing basketball. And my buddy's like, yo, bro, you're like purple. And I was like, I don't feel good. So I went out of the game. I went home. And then later that day, I went on the set to do the TV show. And Mafia was like, yo, you look purple, bro. Like, what's going on? You don't look good. I was like, yeah, I don't feel good. Yeah. He's like, well, just then go to the hospital. I go, do the fucking show. And he said, all right. So we did the show. And when the show was over, I went to the hospital. My hands went numb. I went to the hospital. They put me in a machine, and they told me I was in full heart failure, that my heart valves had exploded off of my heart, and that my heart was spraying blood, and that I needed to be rushed to a bigger hospital in the city. And I was going to be put in an ambulance and taken immediately for open heart surgery. I was like, what?
Oh my God.
So they put me in an ambulance. They drove 100 miles an hour. I went to this big, huge hospital in New York. And this guy that's a legendary heart surgeon, they got him out of bed, and he literally came to the hospital for me. And he said, you should be dead. I'm going to save your life. I'll see you in the morning. They covered my face. I woke up. I had giant tubes shoved down my throat. I was in a cardiac unit. I ended up being there for a month. And I had massive open heart surgery. So they replaced my valves with cow heart valves from a cow. I have 2 fake, these valves that run my heart now. And I have a giant clamp that holds it all together. So I basically have a artificial heart. But the reality is that the guy saved my life, and my wife wanted to fuck him. He was really good looking. He was from Greece. Really handsome, thick hair, had an arm tattoo, a Rolex, had the white coat on, heart surgeon, making millions. Guy had it all going, large penis, the whole deal. And I told him I didn't want to fuck him, but
allegedly,
thanks for saving my life. And then the nurse told my wife, get a number. You're 104th in line, bitch. You're not getting to him before us. They all wanted to sleep with this guy, and he ended up saving my life. And then what's weird is he knew who I was, and he's like, I like your show. You're a funny guy. He goes, it's been nice meeting you. Glad I could save your life. And then I never saw him again the rest of my life. So I ended up he saved my life. And then I went to they put me in like a different cardiologist that's who I see, is a different guy. And I never saw the guy again. And I know that my wife, when she makes love to me, she yells his name out like once a month. So she's still thinking about him. But
and you're cool with that.
Yeah. I survived, and I'm playing basketball again. I'm, everything's normal. I don't seem like it ever happened, but it did happen. And you would never know it happened. I feel totally normal. And
yeah, it's incredible you're telling this story. You look perfect right now. It's incredible. But dude,
it sucked. Believe me, it sucked. It was the worst thing ever. It took, so I had it in November. It took 6 months before I was allowed to walk or play basketball. I had to go to physical therapy. I had to graduate from physical therapy. You have to meet certain standards of numbers. You have to meet metrics for your heart and pass all these tests before they let you go back out and do things like swim, play basketball, ride a bike, things like this. Walk. I mean, literally, it was the worst thing, honestly, that's ever happened to me. It was scary. And when I was in that hospital and I got that surgery, literally, I was helpless. Like, I was peeing in a jug. I had a guy spraying me every day in the bathroom with a hose to give me a bath. I couldn't fucking do anything without help. Like, I had to have people help me do everything, feed me, everything. I was a noodle. It sucked ass, but I have to say they're really good at what they do.
Yeah,
it worked, and here I am. So, I mean, it sucks. Like, I don't really know what to say because people say, "Oh, Ferrall, you got to be careful now." I'm like, I don't really know how to be careful. Like, so I'm just living life now, normal, and doing what I do what they tell me. I go to, I take pills. I do this. I do that. I go see doctors, whatever. But they did come through for me, and they actually told me my heart's better now. It's like a 25-year-old heart now.
Good.
Because it's my other one failed, right, and exploded. So this one is fixed with like you know, I have like a heart, you know, these cow valves are way stronger than human valves, and they can fix people now that have massive heart attacks. It's the most unbelievable thing. When I was in there, there was 1,000 people in the cardiac unit. Not to bore you, but you walk around all day. They make you walk at least once a day because you're like dying or whatever. So they make you do laps around the cardiac unit. And I used to look in all the rooms and see all these people like suffering and dying and having heart attacks and having heart replacements and having heart, you know, complete, they do everything. They replace hearts, they valves, they do everything. And it's amazing, those doctors, what they do for a living, what they're able to do. So they tell me that like in 10, 12 years, I have to have the clamp changed on my heart. And they do that overnight. They go through your groin and they fix it. And
incredible.
That's how they do it. I'm like, they told me I'll have to do it one more time in my lifespan where they have to change the clamp. But that's basically it. One good thing about it is, I will tell you, Cy, now when I go to airports, I don't have to go through security. And I also get on the plane first. Every time I'm allowed to go on as a, you know, handicapped person with the heart. And I also, I have a handicap parking placard now, which is titties. I went to see the Stones and I parked fucking front row, the first spot at Snoopy at MetLife in East Rutherford. I literally parked next to the stadium with my heart fucking handicap placard. I walked in, and when you walk in and you're like, I have an artificial heart, they're like, right through, sir, right through. When I go to the airport, they're like, I have a fake heart and I'm having trouble breathing. They're like, right to first class, right through, first one on the plane. There are advantages to dying, I have to tell you. And I have not seen Jesus, but I have died and I've come back from the dead, and I get on planes first and I park everywhere right next to the door. Everywhere I go now, I park front row, first spot. And people, it's funny because they see me walking normal when you get out of the car. There's nothing worse than people when they are like, what's with this guy? There's nothing wrong with him. He's moving well.
Right.
This guy's got a fake handicap card. I'm like,
you gotta hop on your step.
No, I have a fake heart. Fuck off. I'm good. I'm gonna park right here, and you're not.
I was gonna say that would have been a phenomenal visual in Vegas. If I'm guessing you didn't drive, but if you have driven to that arena for the Dead show, popping chocolates as you're getting out of the handicap spot, go to Party for the Dead. My first concert, by the way, ever. I was like 15 years old. The Grateful Dead, back when Garcia, rest in peace, was alive. At the Oakland Coliseum, man. They played in the arena. And that was my first experience with the parking lot, right? That was even a bigger deal.
Almost that dump, right? That was and I call it the ashtray. Yeah. The Alameda County Coliseum is the ashtray. And then the basketball arena, it was the loudest arena in the NBA, bar none. Bar none.
There.
And then they left there for this, Shangri-La Chase in San Francisco. But let's face facts. I mean, it's obviously a magnificent arena, but when they played in Oakland, that was the loudest arena. I used to go to games, right? When I lived in San Francisco, I used to go watch them, and they were never. I was there with Richmond and you name it.
Run PMC, yeah. Well, you were here, for people who aren't familiar, you were in the Bay Area hosting on KNBR. Right. You were one of my inspirations to get into this business. Talking about your kid all these years later, no one was telling me not to do no one was giving me the warning signs. So I went full bore into this industry, partly thanks to you, man, because I'd listened to you growing up, and on KNBR, you just had such subtle little things besides the incredible voice, the incredible takes. You had the sound effects of the beer bottles, the beer keg. Dude, you were awesome, brother.
It was a cool show, right? Like, so I thought the show was really cool, and I liked the Dubs, and I liked Bob Fitzgerald. I was friends with Bob, and
still covering him. Yeah, man,
he's still doing the games all these years.
Still doing the Warriors, and I'm glad we brought this to the Warriors to wrap up the show here. And I could go forever with you, but I feel guilty for stealing your time. But speaking of the Warriors, you brought up Indiana, man, your alma mater. The Warriors actually have a center from there named Trayce Jackson-Davis. Right. This kid can ball, man. What's your take on this kid? And just give us your general impression of the Warriors offseason. I don't know how much research you've done, but your thoughts on the Warriors, sir.
I like Trayce. He's a good kid. And when I took my son to dinner at a place called Little Zagreb's in Bloomington, to dinner. And
steakhouse or what kind of food?
It's a steakhouse. Yeah. It's a really good spot in Bloomington. It's the best steak place in Bloomington. They got about 2 that are worth eating at. And I went to both of them. So I took Gunnar to Zagreb's, and then I took him and his buddy. So one of his friends from New York City goes to IU. So I took them both to dinner there. And sure enough, we're sitting there, and in comes Trayce Jackson-Davis, and he walks into the restaurant. And I said to my son, I said, just go over to him and just be cool and ask him for a picture, and that's it. And it's all gravy. So he went over and he met him, and he was a great guy to him, and he took a picture with him, and he shook his hand and told him he was a huge fan of his and blah, blah, blah. And he was really nice. I think Trayce is a great player. I think he's obviously got a nice future. I thought he fit in well with the Dubs. I thought he, came into his own, busted his ass. I thought he got good burn. He obviously was a really talented Big Ten college basketball player. He was a force in college basketball. But, the NBA is another level. And I think that he has kind of come into his own. I think he's got a spot on that team. I think he maximizes the most out of his burn and minutes. And I think he matters to the Warriors' success. I think they have a guy that can legitimately play the big off the bench and can give them quality minutes. And he can rebound, block shots, dunk, finish, shoot, score. He's got an inside low post game. He can definitely ball. He can definitely play. I like him. Now, like the rest of that team, let's face facts. It's all about Steph, and he was incredible in Paris. I thought his 60 points in the last 2 games, he deserved the MVP. Obviously, they gave it to LeBron because he had, gigantic numbers throughout the 2 weeks in France. But I thought the reason they won the gold medal was because of Steph Curry. He's just a freak. I thought his game against Serbia, Serbia, the performance he put on was it was sexual. Like the dagger bombs he was hitting in the late moments of that game were phenomenal. He's just surreal. He's sensational. And then it was. They got it done against France, and again, he lit it up. He went off even more. He hit 9 threes in that game. I thought, the Serbia game for me was more clutch. The French game it reminded me of the men's Olympic hockey team in '80. They beat Russia, then they had to win another game, and they had to come from behind again, they got it done. I thought the U.S. men's basketball team was a little overrated, that they were unbeatable and that they were untouchable and that no one could dance on them. I didn't think that was true. They could have been beat. Serbia had them by the balls. They should have beat them. They didn't. They went 0 for 9 from 3 in the fourth quarter. Before that, they were 50%. They had 15 of 30 from 3 the first 3 quarters. I thought Bogey was on fire. And then I thought Steph took over the game. I think the entire story of the Dubs now is no Clay. It's going to be bizarre without him. And I think it's going to be fun on November 12th when he goes back to San Francisco and plays them. I'm a huge fan of all those guys. They're great players. I still have a little Dubs blood in me. I'm not a Dubs fan hardcore. I still have a little history with them, but I'm a Knicks fan. I've been here for 25 years in New York, watching the Knicks suffer and lose and never win shit. And I want the Knicks to win a NBA championship worse than anything. Like, I think they have a really good team. I think Brunson's a badass. They kind of remind me of the Warriors, the way they built the team, and they have a stacked, loaded team now, like the Dubs had. And once they got Dre and Clay and Steph and all the pieces, and the great coach in Kerr, I think Tibbs is a really good coach. They remind me of the Dubs a little bit, and I'm hoping that it comes to fruition for them like it did for the Dubs in the Bay Area. The Bay Area has seen them win 4 titles, and Steph's really special, and Clay's really special, and Dre's really special, even though he's an asshole. He's a really special player.
Yeah.
That's just a fucking asshole. But I think that I think Kerr has put up with his bullshit. And I always thought he'd had enough of it, and he's sick and tired of it, and he's going to walk away. But he hasn't. Kerr has never left the team, and they're stuck with Green now because he's got this big contract. So it's basically Dre and Steph now, and basically to me, Trey, I think Jackson-Davis, and I think Kuminga, and then what's his name, Podziemski. I think that's the whole team to me. I really don't think they have anything else that I'm tripping about. You know what I mean?
You're not missing much. You're not missing much, man.
I don't think they're that good anymore. I don't think they matter.
Man. You're a gambling man, right? You love to throw ducats. You love to put your money where your mouth is. I'm totally with you there. And I think that's a lot of what your program's about. And I want you to promote your program before we go. But speaking of gambling, the Warriors this year, their over-under is for win total is 43.5. And their odds of winning the title, I think, are plus 4,000. Any thoughts on the Warriors in terms of betting on them, or would you stay completely away?
Yeah, they're not a team that I think is going to have any chance at all to win anything. They're not winning the cup, the NBA Cup, and they're not winning the NBA title. And that's just all there is to it. They're just not that good. So I don't like them as a better. Listen, it's going to be really weird not seeing Clay on that team anymore. And now he's playing in Dallas. I was stunned he didn't go to the LA like his father and go to the Lakers. I thought that's where he would have gone, but obviously he doesn't feel that they're going to win it either.
Right.
And I think he feels like Dallas has a better shot, and Dallas just went on a run. So we already know what they're capable of with Luka and that set of players they have on that squad. They're a lot better than the Lakers. They really are. So he went there to do his own thing and, find his own path and his own course. I thought he was going to follow his father, Michael Thompson, and go to the Lakers. He grew up a Laker fan. He grew up, going to the Forum. Mm-hmm. And I thought, how could he ever just blow that off? But he did. That's a guy doing his own thing. He's obviously not making decisions based on his daddy, his mommy, where he's from, or even the Warriors. I think the Warriors obviously gave up on him because they think he's shot. They weren't going to give him a contract. I don't think he's shot. I don't think he's what he was. I think anyone that has a ACL or a Achilles, I play ball every day of my life. I still play ball every day of my life.
I can't believe you played ball the day you had your heart exploded. That's insane to me.
I did play that day, but not for long. But I played 6 months later, and now I play 4 or 5 days a week with the same guys. I play with all these D1 and retired NBA guys. All of them are great players. All of them played big time college basketball at major programs. They're all really good. I'm a good player. I'm not a great player. They're all great players, but I love playing. And, I love basketball. It's my favorite thing on earth. It's my favorite sport. It's I love hockey too. I love the Penguins. I love the Steelers. I'm a season ticket holder of the Steelers, but basketball is my favorite. So, being that I play so much, I just seeing that guy, they gave up on him, right? Bottom line, they just said he doesn't have it anymore. That's why they let him go. They don't want to say it. They never will, but they think he's shot. And so they weren't going to give him a contract, and he can still fill it up. I don't think he's a dominant player anymore where he can go to the 10 and make it happen and control a game. Like when he was Splash Brothers, he was amazing. I don't think he's amazing anymore. I think he can just still knock it down when he has to. And I think that overall on that team in Dallas, he'll have, I think he'll be the best 3-point shooter on that team. But I think, obviously Luka is the, straw that stirs the drink. It's Luka's team. And I think, Kyrie, Luka, and him, they're going to have a lot of buckets. I think Clay can hit shots. But I think his days of, you know, obviously left the Dubs. You know, I question whether he'll win one in Dallas. He obviously thinks he will win one in Dallas. That's why he went there. I don't think he would have ever won one in Los Angeles with that team. In fact, I think LeBron's he's got this new deal, whatever it is, 2-3 years. I think LeBron will play one more year and then retire.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's got the kid with him, right? And I mean, you've got kids, so maybe you understand much better than I, you know, how that feels to actually have your son playing alongside you. And I feel like that's the one thing left on the box to check off. And I'm totally with you. And Klay Thompson reminds me a lot of Ray Allen at the tail end of his career, right? Where maybe in the same way Ray Allen went to Miami and helped them win a championship, maybe Klay will do that. You know, speaking of Luka real fast, I just want to see 1 year where he actually tries to get in shape. My guess is your heart is, even right now, is stronger than his. The dude smokes cigarettes. He eats what he wants. He eats cheeseburgers. Like, it's incredible, dude.
Yeah, he's something else. I think he is a phenomenal player. There's no questioning his skills. He's a freak. He's a superstar freak with the ball. Scoring, passing. I don't think he plays defense at all. I think he cries. I call him the whiny crybaby bitch on my show because there's no one that cries more than him in the NBA with refs. I think he's the biggest crybaby in the league. He never stops bitching to refs the whole game, every game. He could be thrown out of every single game of the season because all he does is complain. From the minute the game starts till the minute the game ends, he just screams and yells at refs and he questions everything. The guy gets mad when he gets the and one call. The guy gets the call and makes the bucket and goes to the line and makes me that he's still complaining. That's when you know you're a pussy, when you complain even when you get the call. Like, I've never known anyone. I've never seen a guy get an and one and still bitch the whole way at the line as he's shooting a free throw. Like, you got the fucking call, bro. Lighten up, Francis. But there's no denying his talent. But I just am sick and tired of his crying all the time. I'm not a fan. Now, I do have his shoes. I play in his shoes. I have a pair of them. I moved out of them. I played in them for like, I don't know, 4 months. I played in Lucas for 4 months, and they were great, but they kind of came apart. Oh. And they're, you know, $200 Nikes. Not and good. They came apart, and like they started breaking up. And I was like, that was the end of him. I did like his shoes a lot more than I like his whiny crybaby bitch ass. Honestly, like, so now Klay's got to play with him, watching this guy cry the whole game, you know, and Klay's just a pure shooter. Just give him the pill and let him shoot. Yep. And he'll knock it down. But this other guy, oh my God, he spends the entire night complaining. I can't, there's nothing I hate worse. And the other guy that's just like him is Green. Green's an asshole too. Yeah. I mean, he bitches as much as I think Luka does. Like, Klay he's a technical waiting to happen, right? But at the same time, he's a great defender, a great passer, a great teammate, and really knows how to play basketball. I think Dre's a great player, but he's such an asshole that I think he takes you know what I mean? Like, it just takes away from his game and talent, wasting so much time getting thrown out of games, suspended, you name it. What doesn't he have go wrong because of his temper? And like, I've been thrown out of 50 million games too by refs. And I know what it's like to get teched up and thrown out of games and bitching. And you're not helping anyone on your team when you're not playing. So I think Dre has hurt them. In fact, I said it before, like, I'm surprised that Kerr still puts up with it. I'm surprised they gave him a new deal. I'm surprised they kept him because I frankly thought Lacob and Kerr and all of them, even Bob Myers, were sick and fucking tired of Draymond Green.
Well, you know what the answer to that is? I agree with you that he's definitely pushed a lot of people's patience to the limit, but he's also Steph's bodyguard. He's Steph's enforcer, right? Yeah. And I think that's really what it comes down to and why they put him.
Who's the other one? Looney? He's still on that team,
he's still there, yeah.
I like his role and his abilities, and that he plays every night. He's like the horse, the iron horse of the, you know, he's just always there. He's dependable and accountable, and he doesn't lose his mind and freak out. They can count on him. I think, you know, Dre's been a loose cannon, and I think that you know, after I've said on my show a million times, why does Kerr put up with this? Like, it's just, he's so painful that it is amazing what they have put up with him, to be honest with you, because I guess it's all worth it to have those 4 rings. Because he's a distraction. He's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, he is. But his basketball IQ is so high. And again, the fact that he is there for Steph, they work so well together. That Gobert chokehold last year, I think that might have been the final straw, man. Like, if he does something like that again, I think he's gone, or I think they're going to do something.
He has done everything crazy in his career. He is a lunatic. But you know what's going to be really bizarre is, I think, just the fact that Clay's gone and we're not going to see him there anymore, to see how they evolve sans Clay is the story of their season. Like, how are they going to interpret who they are without him? Because it was always the Splash Brothers and Dre. And now it's anything but. It's a whole new world for the Warriors. And I got to tell you, I'm surprised, to be honest. I'm surprised Steve's still coaching. He did a great job at the Olympics, and I know he's not going to do that again. I think it's I think it's going to be Spo. I think Spoelstra will get that job.
Same, I agree.
And, you know, and a lot of people think it's Ty Lue. I think it's Spo.
I think it's Spo too.
But I think, you know, with everything that Steve's been through with his back and the surgeries and the pain and the agony and Draymond Green, and he's won everything. He won so many titles with Michael Jordan, and he won so many titles as a coach of the Dubs. What, you know, is there left? An Olympic gold. What is there left to do that gets you off? Like, what gets your rocks off when you've already accomplished so much? Like, what is left for someone that's done what he's done in life as a coach and as a player? I don't see. I always thought he'd walk away because of his back, and he's already accomplished everything tenfold. Like, I mean, the guy's got rings falling off of his hands. And his house. You know, if you robbed his house, you'd be worth millions because he's got so many trophies and rings. But what is there left to prove?
Giving people ideas. I love it.
There's nothing left to prove for him. What is left? He got it done with a team, an overrated team. Let's face it. Oh, they're never going to lose. They weren't that good. They barely beat Serbia. They barely beat France. They never covered in any of the games they played in France. They didn't cover spreads. They weren't that good. They were good enough. They got it done. He got his goal.
You're the first person, sorry to interrupt, but you're the first person that's brought that up. The betting spreads of Team USA and the fact that against the spread, they were not very good. You're the first person that's brought that up. I thank you for that.
They never covered. They weren't that good, but they got it done. And I don't know what's left to prove in life for him. Like, I saw him at the DNC. I was like, what the fuck is happening here? This guy's at the Democratic National Convention giving speeches. Does he? I just don't see what's left for him.
You know what it is, Scotty? And you can relay this.
I don't get it.
Here's the thing, and you can relay this on your show as the answer. There is 2 things. One is he loves his job. He has, I mean, there's a lot of power and cachet that comes with being the head coach of the Warriors, and I don't think he's ready to give that up. Right, just being in control, having his son coaching the G League team, and but the other part of it is Stephen Curry. Like from what I understand, he's going to ride this out with Steph. So when Steph says I'm done, he's going to say he's done. They're going to go out as a pair together. That's I'm reading the tea leaves, and that's what it seems to me.
You might be right. I don't question that or argue that point. I think you might be onto something, but
so are you. I mean, you're right. What is he?
Steph, 37 now?
Who is Steph?
How old is Steph?
He turns 37 in March. Yeah,
right. Correct. So there you go. So I knew he was something like that. So I mean, how many years? Look, it's different for everybody. Like, LeBron's already 39 going on 40, and he's going to play his 21st year, whatever. I don't see many more years from him. Steph is still dynamic. What he does on a nightly basis in the NBA is surreal. So I still think he's got game left, 3-4 years at least. So, you know, you probably are right, but I'll believe it when I see it that Steve Kerr is still coaching them in 4 years from now.
Well, don't be surprised
I
if
don't know.
Steph retires in 2 years as well. Like there's a lot of I'm hearing a lot of stuff from inside the building that when his contract is up, he might just call it quits. And because he loves to golf. I don't know if you're a golfer or not.
I know he's a golfer.
Loves golfing, and his dad plays year round. And he said before that he envies the fact that his dad has this freedom to golf 365. He's got the 4 kids.
I thought his brother, I thought his dad was okay. And I thought his brother, I really do think his brother sucks.
Seth.
Yeah, I don't. I've seen him play with the Nets and stuff. I think he sucks. Like, and he's just got to be livid that his brother is such a badass and that he's so average. Honestly,
there's two schools of thought, right? Either you're envious of it and you're bitter, or you realize, hey, man, I just grabbed those coattails and I'm having the time of my life. Like, I don't know.
I don't know how I would handle my brother, lighting it up and from 40 feet out in every game and winning gold medals, winning NBA crowns, winning MVPs, everything else. And then you hit a 3 like once a week. Like, it's got to suck. Like, it's just got to suck when your brother's that much better. So I play with this guy, right? Both of these guys play D1 ball. And they're both phenomenal players. And one of them's better than the other. And they're both phenomenal. But one of them's clearly better than the other. And then when they show up together to play on the same day, because it's rare that they're both there on the same day. Like, I played Wednesday night with the one brother and the other one wasn't there. I think I played Monday and they were both there.
Okay.
And one's better than the other. And when they go at it, it's fun to watch them because, it's just this brother and this intensity of these two dudes trying to kill each other. And meanwhile, one of them is clearly just a step above the other one. And it's amazing for me to watch them play because the one guy they're both unstoppable, but one of them's better than the other. And he knows it. He knows he's better. And it's fun to watch him play. And I love playing basketball. But honestly, when I think of Steph and his brother sucks. Like, and no offense to his brother, because he's probably the greatest guy ever. And I remember, the father got divorced from the mother and they broke up. And I know they did because I remember they showed him with his new girlfriend sitting over here.
They both had new partners. No one ever talks about that, Scotty. Like they both when Steph, this is crazy. When Steph won the 2022 championship on the court in Boston was his mom with a new partner, his dad with a new partner, and those two were previously together. So it's almost like they swapped. Really crazy shit, man. No one ever talks about that. Maybe for good reason.
So the dad ended up with the wife's boyfriend.
Basically, Steph's mom and dad. The mom, her boyfriend, was the ex of the dad's girlfriend. Does that make sense?
That's crazy.
It is crazy, and no one talks about that. It went under the radar. It was like a weird. It's almost like a swinger thing, man. Yeah, you're right. That's a whole other drama. But
I've heard of all that stuff around here in New York City, and I want no part of it. Like, I can't even fathom my wife banging my friends. I'm just not having it. It's not on my watch.
Keep me out of that drama, man. I'm totally with you on that. So Scotty, tell the people. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I want your fans to know I have a new app that's badass. It's Ferrall and the Prophet. So if you go on the iOS or Android in the Play Store, you can go and look up Ferrall and the Prophet. So I work with a buddy of mine. He's really funny, crazy. He's a betting savant. He's nuts. Ooh. And I've been friends with him a long time. And we do like you and I are doing right now. We do a daily uncensored video called Ferrall and the Prophet. And then I do a thing called Ferrall Unplugged. They're both uncensored, like from my Stern days. And so one of them, the Unplugged, is me doing all the games, recaps, and previews of games I had that day. The other one is he and I, slice of life, effing around, causing trouble. And then he gives out some of his plays. He's really good. Is
this right? Is this your page right here, Ferrall on the Bench?
Well, that's Ferrall on the Bench. That's definitely, that's him. That's the guy right there. Mickey, the Prophet, that's him. And then so that on the website, FerrallOnEvents.com, that's where people get my elite plays.
Okay.
And then on the app, which is Ferrall and the Prophet, profitable.tv, go get the app. It's all profit plays, which are his plays, which are that people love his bets. And he's really good at it. And we F around on this video every day and talk about everything. Like you and I just did this show, this amazing show. And it's the same thing. It's just he and I doing it every day. And it's really cool. We got this app now. Just look up Profitable TV. You'll find it. It's on TikTok, Instagram. It's on X. It's on LinkedIn. It's on Facebook. It's everywhere. And it's really cool and it's fun. And it pisses off my bosses till no end. Because
why?
I don't know why. Because I think it's because it's dirty and they don't want that. And I also, I try not to like start fights with them or anything. I'm just like, I've been doing it for so long that I've been doing this FerrallOnEvents.com has been around now, I think for around 18 years. And it's fans love it. And they like my picks and they like betting and they like going to the site and they like getting my picks and they like betting them. And so I've always had it. And I was like, if you want me to work here, leave me alone. I'm not going to stop doing what I do. Right. And they said, all right, we'll let you do it. And then 5 years later, I've been there and now they're complaining about it. But, I'm not a fan of after the fact stuff. Like, you agree to it one day and then 5 years later, you want to change the rules. I don't have a problem at all, zero, with where I work. I like it. I like Sports Grid. I love doing the show on Sports Grid. I love Ferrall Coast to Coast every day, 3 to 6 East, 12 to 3 West. I love
it. This is the app right here.
That's the app.
Ferrall and the Prophet. Right there on my phone. Download that, please, folks.
It's cool. Right, it's really cool. The app's cool. It's $10 a month. And it gives you, it's like Netflix. We have streaming content. We also have on there, just not that it matters, but you'll get a kick out of this. So I do work with Jerome Baker Bongs. And so we have this Pipe Dreamers show that we're going to have on there, all their episodes of people blowing glass, making glass bowls and bongs and pipes. And then we have, that's on there. And we also, they do a thing called Haze TV, which is obviously, you can figure out what that means. So they have all these stoners that do this stupid show that's hilarious. Everyone's baked out of their face and they talk about stupid shit. And we're going to air that. I interview certain people on it, sometimes actors, actresses, rock stars, country stars, comedians. I do everything. No different than you and I've been friends and do this show. So the app's cool. The shows are cool. They're funny and they obviously piss off. They piss off suits for some reason. I try not to have a problem with anyone. Like I always tell them I'm promoting the network every day when I'm on here. Even I'm on, because I'm on Sports Grid every day, 3 to 6, Monday to Friday. It's a cool show. Ferrall Coast to Coast is a really cool show and it's funny. And then my app obviously bothers everyone, but it's a cool app and the shows are funny. Everything on there is really funny and it pisses people off. So like the stuff I do on there is kind of really my Howard Stern days and it's uncensored and it's raw. And then I have more death threats, more hate, more vitriol, more threats, like people calling me every name in the book. Like I'm this, I'm that, I'm a racist, I'm a pig, I'm an asshole, die, you're ugly. One guy called me a pineapple. He said I look like a pineapple with my hairdo. I get a lot of abuse on this app, but it's funny as shit and people dig it and tons of people dig it. So I think you'll dig it too. So
and Ferrall and the Prophet download. Look, first of all, if you're upsetting suits, in my opinion, that means you're doing something right. And they love to have control. So if you're being independent, doing your own thing, I would guess that's the reason. F them.
Well, they'll probably fire me, and that'll be the end of it. And you know what? It's funny because what sucks is, I've been fired 30 times, and I'm used to it, and I'm not afraid of it. And once you get to that point in life, it's certainly more calming to deal with it when you've dealt with it like I have. So I've been fired for every reason known to man, good or otherwise, fair or not, right or wrong, or legitimately or illegitimately. I've gotten done every which way but loose. But I know that you know, kind of at my age, like, you know, it's really simple. I still do cool shows. And if I've always said the same thing to them, they threaten me with this, that. I actually have a great relationship with these people. I don't have a problem with them. But if they ever give me shit about it, I'm just going to be like, I really don't have any control over what you want to do with me. So if you're going to do me, and then I'll just do that instead. Like if I did this show every day on this thing, it's so funny. It's so good. It really is so kick-ass. It's better than anything I do now. So I think that may bother them. I don't know. But I try to make it beneficial to them and to me. I'm not trying to piss anyone off. I'm trying to get people to dig it, audience to dig both shows, the app, the TV show, the betting, the picks. Everything I do on Ferrall Coast to Coast is to make Sports Grid look good and to make them bigger and better. And it's been enormous. When I started, they had no viewers. And now we're in 250 million homes. When I started, there was no distribution. Now we're on every single streaming network known to man. I'm on Amazon Prime, Amazon Freebie, Roku, Sling, Fubo, YouTube TV, Fire Stick. I'm on Sirius XM. I'm on everything. So all I know is everything I do, I try to do it for still so people dig it and enjoy it. And there's really no other reason for me to exist. I don't think I matter. I've never felt like I mattered that much.
Yes,
the
you
shows
do. You absolutely do. It's ridiculous.
Well, people dig the shows. So people like, frankly, I guess my work, and I hope to keep doing it for a few more years. I just want to, frankly, put my kids through college and then I'll retire. I'm not one to hang on. I've never felt like I mattered that much. I think the show's cool and what I do is cool, but I never felt like anyone, you know, people would be fine without it. I think people will go on breathing without me. And
well, you can say that about everybody, Scotty. But look, I respect your humility. In reality, you have made a tremendous impact for so many people, including myself, and that's why I asked you to come on, man. Because I love you, brother.
Like a lot of people, like I worked with Imus, I worked with Stern, I worked with everyone that matters in TV and radio. And all I know is it's hard for guys to walk away. Like still to this day, like I'll never forget Howard. I love Howard. I look up to Howard. Howard's been telling me he was going to retire for the last 20 years.
Right.
And so he's told me he's going to retire so many times, I just don't even care anymore. Imus did it till he was 80. And, I did it with the schmoozer at CBS, Steve Summers. Steve's the greatest guy I ever knew. And he's still doing shows. And he's like fucking 112. And I just don't want to be that guy. I'm not that dude. I'm really not. I want to go surfing and I want to fuck and I want to eat steaks. I don't want to I don't need to do this to be happy. Like I enjoy watching TV and farting as much as I do working. Like I've been doing the show for 41 years and I started at 18 and I've done it ever since. So I don't need to keep doing it. I'm doing it now to put my kids through college. It's as simple as that. I don't do it for any reason about fame or being known or any of that. I really don't. Most people that know me, like that really know me, you're friends with me, but I'm not a dick and I don't need this shit. I don't do it to get my rocks off. I do it to put my kids through school and it's very expensive, as you know. So other than that, I would already be done. Like I've done this so long that I don't like get off on it anymore. You know what I mean? I like doing it, but I don't live to do it. You know what I mean? I'd rather enjoy life than work every day on my phone.
I hear it. No, I'm 100% with you. And look, Scott, you're still the peak of your powers. So take your time in terms of stepping away. You're still entertaining the masses. Sports Grid, like you said, man, when you first started there, I never heard of it. I'm like, what the hell is Scotty Ferrall doing with this thing? Sports Grid. And now it's on like Sirius XM. You mentioned on Amazon. It's all over the place. And as you mentioned as well, your venture, download the app, Ferrall and the Prophet. Dude, you're killing it. Take your time, man. Don't walk away.
I love Golden Days. I love you, Cy. It's always fun hooking up with you. Hopefully, people dig this show today that we did. We spent a lot of time together. I always seem to end up hooking up with you and doing shows.
Well, let's surf. I want to surf with you at some point.
I'm always rooting for you, bro.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I'm always rooting for you.
Right back at you, man. Right back at you. You always have me covering your back. And don't take your time stepping away, dude. All right, man. You are one of the best to ever do.
I'll try to make it a few more years. My goal is to actually just put both of them through school. So if I can make it 5 or 6 more years, that's the goal. And I don't know if I can because I don't trust anybody in this business. I know I've been fucking done by everybody. So I don't trust the business, but I trust myself. If I can stay alive, I think I can show up every day and do shows.
Yeah.
And if I don't do them for them, I'll do them for me. I'll do them for the Prophet, my partner, Mickey. We do great shows. If it's not for them, it'll be with us doing shows. I'll do something. And then one of these days I'll fade away. Just like, like the Puddle of Mud song. I want them to play at my funeral, Drift and Die. That's kind of my theme song. So I'm cool with, if I can drift and die, I'm cool with that. Just keep hanging on until I die. Drift and Die, baby. Puddle of Mud.
And I love Blurry, but they have a lot of great songs. But Puddle of Mud's awesome. You're awesome, dude. Thank you. And again, if people can follow you on social media platforms, I believe it's just your name on Twitter, Scott Ferrall. If you're on Instagram, I think you got to add like a dash.
I think it's so at Scott Ferrall is my personal. At Ferrall on Grid is the Sports Grid one, and then on Instagram it's Ferrall C2C, and it's Profitable TV. And on everything in terms of the app is Ferrall and the Prophet, but like I'm thinking X, it's a Instagram. I think it's Scott _Ferrall, something like that.
I'm seeing it right here. Yeah, it is.
It's pretty easy to find me. I don't think it's that urgent. I think everyone will be fine. I think everyone will be fine if they can't find. There it is. That's the show. I think that's my Instagram, right? Scott _Ferrall.
Correct.
So I'm not that good at following all this stuff.
Well, you got nearly 60,000 followers on Twitter. I mean, so you're not going away, man.
That's one of them, right? So that's the personal one. And then I have the at Ferrall on Grid. So that one's the show one, Ferrall on Grid. And then I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on X, I'm on TikTok. So TikTok, I just started. I've never done TikTok, but I know that Ferrall and the Prophet, Profitable TV's on TikTok. Just look up Profitable TV. And then the app is actually on iOS is Ferrall and the Prophet. So I think you'll like it. It's really funny. The show's really funny. We do it every morning and it's short. It's 10 minutes. It's not like this show that was like a root canal. We've been on together.
No, dude. It was an hour 20. I can't believe we went this long. But again, to me, if it doesn't feel like it, that means we were killing it, dude. Like this never felt like it dragged at all. I can't believe we went an hour 20 and change. But no, dude, you're a legend, dude. I don't know what else to say, man.
I love you, Cy. Be cool, man.
I love you too. I love you too, brother. Thank you so much, Scotty Ferrall. And many thanks again to the greatness that is Scotty Ferrall for joining the program. I love the man. I know we went a long time there with very little Warriors discussion, but hopefully you were still entertained. And that's what this time of year brings you sometimes. It's going to be about the guests. Now, the good news is on Monday, Kristen Peak, I respect her basketball opinion more than almost anyone, especially when it comes to analyzing young talent. I'm going to talk to her about Quinton Post. I'm going to talk to her about year 2 of Brandon Pajemski and Trayce Jackson-Davis and a whole lot more. She's brilliant, and she's joining the program Monday. Until then, have a great weekend. Thanks again to Scotty Ferrall for joining the program. Thanks to all of you for sticking around. If you're watching this right now, that means you watched the whole thing. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. We'll be back at this soon. Bye-bye.